Hey guys, this is Steve Walls, just checking in with you guys. Out doing a little crappie fishing here in northwest Colorado. High Mountain Lake, we're fishing Basin crappie, about mid-depth. And it looks like my dog's just escaped. Nope, hey, lay down. Lay down. Place. Good dog. I got her bedded down on my jacket today. I brought a moving blanket and it soaked through, so I laid down my jacket so she could lay on that and be warm. Anyways, fishing Basin crappie today. Just kind of random schools coming through. I think I picked up 4 crappie and a pike today. Jolene and I were out here a couple of days ago and did pretty good. I think we brought home 7. These are all deeper fish, so we got some barotrauma issues, and this lake is loaded with crappie, so no harm there. We definitely lean more towards catch and release than catch and keep, but crappie are pretty good eating, and there's tons of them in this lake, so we'll take a few home for dinner. Just wanted to check in with you guys and kind of talk to you about why I did this. I'm sitting out here alone on a lake right now. It feels a little weird talking to a camera. And so I don't know, let's dive into it. As a boy, I think it was a huge dream of mine. Grew up kind of bouncing around in all the mountain states, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, even Utah for a little bit, and a lot of time in the Cascade Mountain Range up in Washington State, a little place called Skykomish, Washington. As luck would have it, my dad died when I was about 13, and kind of got took out of the mountains up there. Really had it made up there. Lived with my grandfather, and we'll get more into this as we go, but lived with my grandfather. To make a long story short, Dad died, and I found myself living in suburban California at the age of 13, being a mountain boy. It was quite the culture shock, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with myself. We were crammed into a little 1-bedroom apartment. Not the best neighborhood in the world. My mother had gotten a job at the Kmart that was down the road. And anyways, what I had to hold on to during that time was fishing. There was a pond down the road, and it was loaded with little bluegills and a few nice bass. And I've got a fish on the screen right now, so I'm a little distracted, but yeah, anyway, I would do that, and then you know, I was definitely different than the other kids there. You know, for one thing, I would come from poverty, and it was, I don't know, it was just different. Dressed different, looked different, acted different, and they all acted different than me. And I just kind of felt like a cougar in a cage out in that part of the world. Anyhow, what I was getting to, reason I decided to do this show, stuck out there in California, suburbanite. I don't know, I wouldn't call it suburbanite. It was a pretty rough little area we were living in, at least the apartment complex we were in. Just people that were a lot different than what I was used to being around. A lot of drugs, lots of knuckleheads. And there was one thing that I could look forward to. Well, 2 things. One, I could fish that pond that was right by me. And 2, I could watch the wind's blowing pretty good here. I could watch shows on the I think back then it was on ESPN, and then also I can't remember, one of the other major channels had something going on. And so I grew up watching Bill Dance, Jerry McInnes, few other guys back then, watching everything from bass fishing to sturgeon fishing. I remember watching the Bass Masters for sure. I think In Fisherman was about to get a show on at that time, but my passion for fishing shows grew as I aged. I grew up fishing literally up until 13, literally every day, if not maybe every other day if you really stretched it out, but more than likely probably about 320 out of 365 days a year. Oh boy, I got a big school of crappie that just moved in on me. We're going to try to catch one of these real quick. That'd be great timing, really. Oh, they're looking. Oh, they're looking. But this has been my dream. And so, you know, the beauty of this day and era is that regardless of what you do, with very little money, you can have your own fishing show on YouTube. And that just excited me to no end. There's a lot more to this story that we'll get into as we go along. But for now, let's just say that I'm living out my childhood dream. I don't really care who watches, and I don't care if the show ever really gets paid for. It's just a promise I made to myself as a boy many, 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 many years ago. This one feels a little better. Hard to tell though. Get them in the hole. Let's see. Oh yeah. Not a bad crappie. Not a bad crappie at all there, a little bit. Look at that one. Pretty good one. Gonna have to get the pliers on this one. There we go. It's gonna be a fish taco. Take a look. Not too shabby. Pick this one up off the tip up. It's a good fish. Gotta be happy with that. Back down the hole. There she goes. Know what a little bit more about me. Right now I'm currently a private practice mental health provider here in Northwest Colorado. I deal specifically with trauma. Post-traumatic stress is my specialty. Complex, what they call, complex trauma. And we got one. Finally. Boy, they were playing hardball. A little skittish in here. I don't know. Crappie are a different creature, at least in this lake. They're a way different creature. I don't know, take a look at that. That's got to make you happy. That makes me happy. They're a totally different creature, though, in the winter. In the winter, it's a finesse game all the way. During the summer, it's a different game altogether. These fish are probably about as dumb as a box of rocks. Usually if I have somebody come into town or somebody that's never caught a lot of fish, I take them out on my boat and we just load up on a few crappie, bring them home, have a good fish fry, all the good things life's all about.